he saw that Sri Chaitanya was very young, and he was very extraordinarily handsome young man. And he thought, what chance has he, to remain a sannyasi at such a young age? So therefore I'd better fix him up, teach him Vedanta philosophy. That's what was in his mind. He was feeling, protective towards the young man. When Sarvabhauma told Gopinath of his offer to teach Sri Chaitanya, Gopinath was indignant. Sri Krishna Chaitanya, because he knew him from Navadvip, Sri Krishna Chaitanya is no ordinary human being. He's the Supreme Lord himself. Why should he need instruction from you? My dear Gopinath, I readily accept Sri Krishna Chaitanya as a wonderful devotee of Krishna, but where is the evidence that he's an incarnation of God? Hearing this, Gopinath debated hotly whether or not Sri Chaitanya was in fact an incarnation of God. This debate did not convince the teacher, and he insisted on inviting Sri Chaitanya to receive instruction from him, suggesting that they should meet at the great Jagannath temple. So if you do ever, meet a great scholar, there's probably not much point in sort of having a hot debate with him. I remember there was a scholar at Oxford. His name was Gombrich. I forgot his first name. And he was how do we get this to stay on? He was probably in a similar position to Sarvabhauma, in the preeminent Sanskrit scholar of Oxford, and hence possibly the world. This is Gombrich, that's certainly his opinion anyway. And he had produced his own translation and commentary on the Bhagavad Gita, and also many other Vedic scriptures. So this is in around about 1972, and we had a very hot-headed young sannyasi. We thought he was old, but I realise now he was young. His name was Rabbasananda. And if you even now, Rabbasananda is still fiery. He's still got a lot of passion to preach Krishna consciousness. So in those days, there was no stopping him, and somehow or another he met Gombrich, and he just blasted him and blasted him and blasted him, and he continued by blasting. I mean, I don't know if that's a familiar term to you now, but is that blasting? He tried to smash him without really listening. I mean, Rabbasananda's talent wasn't listening, it was speaking. And so that went on, actually for weeks, even when Gombrich was no longer there. Rabbasananda kept talking about, yes, that man Gombrich, he kept coming up in all the classes. He's a Mayavadi, he's an impersonist, he's an offender against Krishna. But of course it didn't affect Gombrich at all, unfortunately. He didn't become a devotee, as far as I know, ever, although I believe he did once come to see Srila Prabhupada. But if we had made friends with him, given him prasadam, which I think later on devotees did try to do, that's, at least in the beginning, that's recommended. In fact, Prabhupada himself did that when people came to see him. As soon as he saw that they weren't really going to listen much to what he had to say, he was just friendly with them. So, Sarvabhauma wasn't very convinced that Lord Chaitanya was God, and he said, no, we'll arrange I'll teach him, and we'll meet in the precincts of the temple itself, the Jagannath temple. So when he heard this, Sri Chaitanya said, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is being very kind to me. And he waved aside Gopinath's objections. He just wants to help me to be a good sannyasi. What is the harm? So he agreed that he would accept Sarvabhauma's offer to teach him the Vedanta Sutras. One day, not long afterwards, Sarvabhauma led Sri Chaitanya to a quiet corner in the precincts of the temple. There, in respect for the Lord's status as a sannyasi, Sarvabhauma arranged a comfortable seat for him and sat at his feet on the floor. Now we will begin our lessons. For your own good, listen to me recite the Vedanta with the commentaries of the great Shankara and learn from what I say. With this he began lecturing. His classes lasted for 7 days, during which time Sri Chaitanya listened attentively. When the teacher reached the end of his lectures, he was perplexed with his student. For 7 days you have listened in silence. Why haven't you spoken? Have you understood anything I've said? Sri Chaitanya replied, I'm a fool, and I'm not interested in Vedanta philosophy. But because you tell me it's my duty as a sannyasi, I'm trying my best to hear what you're saying. Sarvabhauma replied, if you don't follow what I'm saying, then why don't you ask me to explain? I understand the sutras, replied Sri Chaitanya. Their meaning is very clear, but Shankara's commentary obscures them like a cloud. It seems to me that his commentary avoids the direct meaning of the sutras and instead interprets them indirectly. Sri Chaitanya then explained the sutras in a simple and straightforward way that didn't touch upon Sarvabhauma's elaborate explanations. He concluded by saying that Shankara's commentary, far from clarifying the truth, misled the followers of the Vedas into thinking of God as impersonal, and in so doing damaged their faith. So this happened on a number of occasions, that Lord Chaitanya, when he would meet with prominent teachers, he didn't beat about the bush. He told them very straightforwardly, he said, this Mayavadi philosophy it's off the point, it's mistaken, it's misleading. We don't need such complicated explanations. But somehow he was able to say it in such a way he didn't seem to offend anyone. So that's an art, that we have to learn to speak directly, but not in a way that antagonizes. And it can be done if it's done with friendship. I speak these words with friendship and concern for you. You're wrong.